All right. Thank you. This is Mark Bohr. I'm North Andover's Poet Laureate, and this is a meeting of the North Andover Poet Laureate Committee of the town. Today is Monday, October 4th, and we are meeting as the Poet Laureate Committee. We are short a couple of members who are not able to join tonight. So we have Bridget Rodding and Jason O'Toole, who are Poet Laureate Committee members on the call today. And I'll be acting as the meeting. I'll be going down the meeting agenda for you tonight. And we had a couple of things we wanted to talk about. So actually, I guess I have a question for you guys. Do either of you have a short poem you'd like to read?
I do have one.
That would be great. Wonderful. Because I can tell you I could use it.
Okay. I'd like to read this in memory of my son, Alex, who passed on the 8th of September. It's by Ellen Bass. The thing is, to love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands, your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weighs you like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief, you think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes, and you say, yes, I will take you. I will love you again.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's hard.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you read it. I was actually going to contact you in advance and ask if you would read something. So
Thanks.
I'm glad you were ready. All right. So first agenda item is just to give you an update. I mean, as you probably saw over the summer, I had outdoor events of the North Andover Poets Corner at the Stevens Estate. We did that 3 times. I organized 3 events, June, July, and August, and we had a very good time. Probably did not have the turnout that I expected, unfortunately. It seems like it was still hard to get people to come out. Know that I quite understand, because I had like one of the months I had Bob Whalen and Lee Eric Friedman as the features, and we had like 15 people, which is okay. But I was since they're both names, I thought I'd have more pull. But you have the event, and they were great events. I did something different with them. I did besides them doing their open, their presentations, their poems. I had them do a poetry challenge against each other, where I had the audience rate them. I'm not sure I'll do this again, but it was kind of interesting. It was kind of like, it was in the same. It was the time the Olympics were going on, so it was sort of like the gymnastic judges holding up their scorecards. It was interesting. I guess it was a little bit like a poetry slam, because those are rated by the audience, aren't they? Like cheers. I've actually never been to a poetry slam, and I should do that sometime. So anyway, we had those events, and then I was back online starting in September, and I'm planning to continue it online right now, because it actually, that seems like the best thing to do versus being in person. What with the Delta variant and possible risks of vaccinations, certain Pfizer losing some of its effectiveness. Maybe the effect is small, but I just feel like it's not worth the risk. And actually, I'm coming to enjoy the online form. It's easy to get out because you just log in. So anyway, that's my plan right now. There are a couple things that I'm thinking of doing, and I don't know when it will come to pass, but I've actually thought of starting a monthly outdoor open mic on Main Street, maybe by the apothecary or by town hall, actually probably by town hall. And I'll probably, if I do it, I would start and have one and see how it goes. But the idea would be like at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, it's North Andover Poets Corner. I just wondered what you guys thought of that. And you know, you can come out, you can read a poem and hear people read their poems. I just thought it might be kind of a neat thing to do, you know.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, when I think back, I know that our April events in 2020 kind of got eliminated, but even the one we did at the veterinary, like there was so many people were interested. They were walking by in the lobby, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I think anything that's visible and public, and you know, people don't have to say, "Oh, this morning I'm going to go to this event." They may just be walking to Dunkin' Donuts to get their coffee, but they see it, so they stop. You know,
right?
There's a farmers market down there still?
The farmers market
Maybe
goes for at least one more week, maybe 2 more weeks. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah.
So actually, that would be something to do without impinging on their area.
Yeah.
That would be a Sunday thing,
right.
Which is possible. I guess I can tell you I probably won't do it this month, but that would be something to think about in the summer, you know, because I could do it across the street without taking away anything from them, you know. Anyway, so that's just something I'm thinking of because I'd like to get out and be in front of people and try some new things. So, okay. And then as far as other promotions and things, I've been doing North Andover Poets Corner on Facebook also. I haven't posted poems that often. I for quite a while, I had a habit of posting one poem a week, usually Saturday or Sunday morning. I'd like to get back to doing that, you know, because it's a way to share poetry. Sometimes mine, but then usually other people's poems. So I'm expecting to start doing that again. But we probably have 50 or 60 members of it now. And so there are a number of other groups who share their events on our Facebook page also. So it's kind of a it's one of the things that the Walnut Street Cafe, Reach Arts with Lee Eric Friedman, Bob Whalen with Rockport Poetry, they post their events too. So it's good to see that kind of activity. So those are the North Andover Poets Corner things that I've been doing. I actually do have another thing coming up, which you probably saw email. Tomorrow night, I'm doing a Robert Frost event where I'm on the program. I'm going to talk a little bit about Robert Frost and read a poem of his. I'm doing the Star Splitter. It's one of his poems. I don't know if either of you guys know that poem.
I'm not familiar with that one, no.
It's not one of his most famous ones, but it's from the same book that has the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. So it's from that same New Hampshire collection that came out in 1923 that he won the poetry Pulitzer Prize for poetry that year. And the nice thing about this poem is that it's a story poem as opposed to just like a vignette or an observational poem. So it's humorous too. You know, it gives a kind of a view into small town farming people, a small town farmer in the town. Are either of you planning or able to make it tomorrow night?
I cannot. Tuesday nights are always tough for me, which is why I miss a lot of the events, unfortunately. But
I may be able to.
Okay. Do you mind if I talk a little more about it?
Oh, please, yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to like spoil the surprise. But the funny thing about the poem, and I guess this really doesn't spoil anything so much, is that in this poem, this farmer burns down his house to collect the insurance money and uses the insurance money to buy a telescope. And so like that's the story that goes on during the poem, and then it talks about other things, and he he uses that as like a jumping off point for kind of some observations about life and philosophy and astronomy, and it's pretty funny actually. So anyway, that's the big reveal.
sounds good.
Yeah. But Karen Klein is also participating in it. And I'd have to look it up again, but there's I think it's a book by it might be a book by Seamus Heaney, the poet, the Irish poet, that she's going to use her reference that she's going to talk about. And then the other two people are, one is someone from Lawrence who I don't know if I think it's the Lawrence History Center. She's going to talk about Frost, and someone who works for the Derry, New Hampshire Public Library is also going to talk about Robert Frost. So it's about an hour. The one thing is it's at 6:00, which I wish it was at 7, because for a lot of people, it's hard to see it live if you're not home from work yet, but that's when they're having it. Oh, I got a text saying that Karen Klein has been trying to get into the, you know what, let me call her and patch her in. I wonder if she's trying to get in with a different email address or something. I don't know.
Hey, hi there.
Hi, I just got a message that you were trying to get in, and
Right, Bill sent that because I've been trying to get in since about 5 or 7.
Can you guys hear her?
Oh, they can hear me.
Yeah. So do you want to just stay on the phone?
Sure, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you were not able to get in still, right? I mean, I don't see you on the call. It's working. Okay. Well, never mind.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I just got a message from Bill.
Okay.
All right. Great. So just to back up a little bit, Jason read a poem about grief, and we talked about the difficult thing with the loss of his son.
Yes.
And then I gave an update on North Andover Poets Corner, some of the events that I had over the summer.
Okay.
And I can talk with you.
I was listening on the TV, so I'm sort of caught up.
Okay. All right, good.
Yep.
All right. So the next thing on the agenda is that we need to recruit new members.
Well, I've got a couple of them. I've just talked to one tonight.
Are you able to share their name, or is this on the side so far?
Well, he's not quite. He wants to have you send him these minutes of the meeting.
Okay.
And he'd like to see about that. He's been on. He was one of the people who helped greatly with the 2012 Ann Bradstreet year. It's Ed Wang.
Okay.
Who's been on the cultural committee, and he's helped a lot with different things.
Okay.
And then Mike Feingold is the gentleman from Andover who said that he'd like to join.
Okay. Good. I can get in touch with him, or actually you can get in touch with him. But like you said, he wanted to see the minutes from the meeting.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to send both of them.
And with that, I can include just a little write up about what the Poet Laureate Committee does and the things, the program that we do over the course of the year, which is usually some event in the spring. And in this, this year, of course, we had the contest and we're hoping to do it again. So really, that's the big thing. Like when you look at what the Poet Laureate Committee does, besides picking the next Poet Laureate, whenever that is, it's working together to put on an event or two during the course of the year. So it's not, except for the poetry contest, there's not a lot. It's not it's not a big ask.
Right. That's what I was explaining to them.
Yeah. Okay. So I also had some news. Jill Barker, unfortunately, has resigned. She's not able to continue on the Poet Laureate Committee.
Right.
You know that?
Right. I did know that.
Okay.
I've spoken with her.
And I also got an email from Marie saying that she is going to be resigning as of December. So Marie's not continuing either.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're losing some really good people over at the library. Bridget's still there, though.
Yes.
Not at the library, but
that's right.
I have my ties, my old ties there.
You're alive wherever yet. Bridget.
Okay. I don't work at Stevens anymore, though.
That's important.
I had a couple of other ideas. The teachers that submitted poems for their classes, I have to believe that they are big believers in poetry. And so I was going to reach out to them because there were at least 3 who had their classes do poems for the poetry contest. So I just wondered what you thought about that. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Okay.
It certainly wouldn't hurt.
Right.
To try.
Yeah. That's what I figured. So I'll do that. So let me make some notes. I mean, because right now we have, I don't know, something like 5 openings on the board.
Right. Suddenly.
Yeah.
Yep, that happens.
Yeah.
Well, fine. What about, I know we had talked a while ago about inviting a high school student.
Yeah, I think that I'd like to do that. So.
Yep.
So what was the one name that you gave? One you didn't give, right? One you're holding.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ed Wang and then Mike Feingold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll contact the 3 teachers who submitted poems from their classes.
Okay.
And
now there is a retired teachers group, and that is a very vital group. They meet with events all during the year, and I'm wondering if maybe we could go to them and just offer the idea to them, because now they have a little bit more time than they did when they were teaching.
Who is this?
Retired teachers, a group of retired teachers in North Andover. They're still very active people.
Uh-huh.
And you never know. You might have somebody who would say, "Oh, sure, maybe I'd like to do that."
Do you have a name?
I thought of them a couple times, and I never mentioned it.
Yeah.
Is there a contact for the group that?
I can find out one teacher I know who just retired, and she'd be able to give me someone's name. I don't even know if it's a loose group that just has they have a telephone tree that they call and tell people that they're going to have an event, or if there are definite leaders.
Okay. I'll put it down. If you can reach out to them and see if there's interest there too.
Yeah.
Okay. And I haven't posted it on Facebook or so I'll do that also.
Okay.
Okay. So those are the main items of the agenda. I have a couple other things to cover, but before I do, well, actually, the next thing I might as well bring it up since I have it on the agenda before I open up the floor to other business. Jason, I wanted to congratulate you on being selected for that anthology.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, what is the title of that? Is Poets with Masks On? Is that it?
Yes, it's with Finishing Line Press. It's Poets with Masks On, a pandemic anthology.
Yeah.
Real quick, it's edited by Melanie Sims, and I got featured on the cover along with Richard Blanco, who is Obama's inaugural poet, and Molly Peacock, and Ellen Bass, whose poem I read at the start of the meeting, and several other poets. And
Yeah.
I guess also the cover is by my mom, Christine O'Connor, who's a New York artist. So,
wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're very proud of you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think I have 2 poems in there that have been published in 2 journals previously, but they're both related to the theme of the pandemic, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, if you wouldn't mind sending a link, if those are,
Yeah.
I'd love to read those poems.
Let's see. I'll send first the. I'll send this as the link to the book, and I can try to find the
poems.
The poems that I wrote. Also, they're on here somewhere. So it was like a Canadian magazine, and another one had published them both previously. But.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to share the poems to mail them to the.
Yes, I'll do that. I can dig them out. Thank you.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I love your poetry. It's
thank you.
intense. All right. And then the other thing, kind of the other final thing on the agenda is I have an idea for the theme, and I just wanted to, and this is for the Anne Bradstreet Poetry Contest for next year. And so if it's not too early to talk about it, I thought we might spend a few minutes and talk about that just to let you know that I'm interested in doing it again, and that I would love everyone's support to do that again and to do it better, like have signs posted around town, maybe submit for some funding. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
To cut some of those expenses.
I didn't hear Karen.
I don't think it's too early, that's for sure.
Actually, it's not. The Cultural Council grant application deadlines, it's October 15th.
Ooh.
So that's super early from this perspective.
Do you have a form, or do they have a form?
I can send you the info after the meeting. Yeah, it's on the Mass Cultural Council site. You submit online. It's not an intensely complicated application process.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of time next week. I mean, it's due at midnight on the 15th.
Yeah.
So we could maybe touch base at some point.
I've done it before.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, and the main thing that's important is the fact that we did the May 22nd program, so we have something to talk about.
Right.
It's the Mass Cultural Council.
Massachusetts. Yeah. It's like I can send you the info official, but massculturalcouncil.org is the main website. And,
Yeah.
And then we can look at the North Andover Council and see what their guidelines are and such. But it shouldn't be. It's not a hugely onerous application process. So I think we have a basic sense of the theme, and as Karen said, we can refer to what we did last year and what we want to do this year. I think we're in good shape, even with the tight time frame.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, this is a case where having the video is something that it's a clear, it's a clear sign of here's what we did, here's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about it. Okay. All right. So yeah, so Bridget, when you send that out, then we can act on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Grant application is due.
And I'm not sure if the Essex County Community Foundation would be willing to look at something that we do too.
Karen, do you want to just look into that or reach out to
I
somebody
can
there?
check with some people over there. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I mean, we'd probably be looking for something like $250 or $5.
I was thinking of 1,000. Maybe
Yep.
ask for 1,000, and then
Well,
you might get 850.
People, that's right. Yeah, I can tell people who have written grant applications know what to ask for.
Yep. If you ask for a little bit more than what you want, wouldn't you say, Bridget, that that's a way to go?
I'll take the fifth.
I guess, well, maybe you're saying ask for what you need. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, whether it's $250 or $500, anything like that would be enough to make a big difference in, in terms of promoting it.
I know with the cultural counselors, you do itemize each,
Yeah.
what they're spending it on. So, if we're looking for promotional costs or whatever, that's fairly easy to conjure up, and then we could.
Yeah. Okay. And Karen, it's the Essex Fund. What?
Essex County Community Foundation.
Community Foundation. Okay.
Yeah, they are based in Danvers.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Really good group.
All right. I'm making notes.
Okay.
Hold on. All right. So I thought I would share the idea that I had for next year's contest. And we actually had a brainstorming session at our house because the starting point was to have something on climate change, on the environment. Okay. And then we were like throwing out, I had a whole series, we had a whole series of possibilities, words for a changing world, in a changing world, Hitchhiker's Guide to a Changing World, Letter to a New World. And so then when we got on that thread, Love Letter for a Changing World, Love Letters to a Changing World. And then we kicked it around a little bit more, and we came up with this, and tell me what you think. Love Letter to the Future.
Do you think that the young people are going to want to do a love letter? I think maybe that would be for adults. Could we have a slightly different word?
Do you have ideas?
For the younger kids? I'm not sure if they would
Well,
get. What do you think, other people there? As far as younger people, not.
Well, kids might think it's gross. It's a love letter.
So your reaction is that that as a title doesn't work for elementary school necessarily?
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
Just maybe the elementary is fine. But we can have the same. We can have the same concept, but with a different word for them.
Okay. Well, then I guess we have to come up with something. And maybe at this point we kind of think about it, and if you have other ideas, we can share and talk next time too.
Right. If I can have some time to work on that.
I mean, we can keep working on this, but one thing that I'm thinking of initially, one of the first ones you said, words for a changing world. I feel like that's very large and all-encompassing, and that might be good for the snappy theme. But then I think last time in the flyer, then we had a little blurb underneath, kind of elaborating on the theme, and then that blurb could say maybe that's a love letter to the future, maybe that's a response to, then we could kind of brainstorm a few variations on words for a changing world, just because I feel like all we hear about is we're living in this period of transition right now, and we are. So I think keeping it very meta for the theme.
Having people come up with words to describe it, and I like that idea a lot. Have words.
Maybe someone wants to write a warning to the future and not a love letter.
Oh.
Yeah,
but
no,
still...
the exact opposite. Sure.
And the other thing
there's freedom there to just use the word words.
I was thinking of the environment, but then when I thought of the future, that's wide open. I mean, that's like everything that you hope for. If you're
it could be space travel.
Right. Right. It could be freedom and justice,
or it could be research in science. I mean, it could be so many different meanings, and they all go to how we see the future. Reach the shock. I love that book because he was telling us about 50 years ago where we are right now.
Yeah.
There was and that's what I want to hear from kids. What do you think?
What about words of encouragement?
Yeah, well, that could be one, like a lower level of if you want to have encouragement, words of trust, you could have a lot of different descriptive words to use for where they want to go. Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good, as Karen's saying, kind of a good elaboration. I don't want the top level theme to be limiting, maybe my words to the future aren't encouraging or loving, but those are aspects of the words for the future.
You can be angry, you can be curious, there's so many different ways, but encouraging, I would hope a lot of kids would be encouraging. I sure would hope that they would be looking at the future that they have in front of them in a good way.
Right.
But you don't know. That's just that's their view.
But I'm capturing some of this here. I'll include that in the notes, and then we can talk further. So I think this is good, just to kind of get things started. And I'll include a list of the different things that I had, and then we can go from there too.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. All right. Good. Those are all the agenda items. The next thing would be just a general item of any other news, poetry, or arts events that any of you would like to share. Anything going on that would like to know about, should know about?
Other than tomorrow evening.
Right.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head here.
Okay. All right.
I know there's some mass poetry programs, but they're going on continuously.
Yeah.
And then there's the Mass Poetry Festival, which I believe is in either April or May. I'm not sure which.
Okay. All right. Any other business that we should talk about?
Well, I don't know whether this is the place to bring this up, but has anyone seen or read a blurb about the Anne Bradstreet statue?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because who was it who had a request about a plaque? You know what? I'm sorry. I was thinking about the plaque.
Oh, the plaque. Oh, I forgot about the plaque. I'm sorry. That's for the Anne Bradstreet Early Childhood Center.
Yeah.
And that's with Stan Leffert and the I believe it's the North Andover Historical Society. I did speak with Stan about it, and I'm not sure now when it would be done or how it would be done, because they're thinking of maybe one plaque or two plaques. I don't know.
Okay.
I have not heard the newest discussion about that, but that's where the plaque would go.
Okay.
That would be one for Ann Bradstreet Early Childhood Center.
So at this point for that one, Stan Limpert is asking for input, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I'm not sure does anybody have any ideas about what you'd like to see? I don't know how big it's going to be. That's the issue.
Yeah.
They were talking about having an outline of the Bradstreet School on it.
Yep.
Which might be nice, and then some type of a small a portion of a poem or a small poem. I'm not sure. It might be a contemplation. She had so many contemplations. So.
Actually, yeah, that would be a good choice. Either one of the contemplations or even just a couple of lines from one.
From a good poem that has to do with children.
Right.
Gee, gosh, I wonder what one that would be, Mark. No more comment about that. But I have to finish. I have to go back to the statue for a minute, because there was a citizen article.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yes, and I did not see it. I was called today, and the person who called me was from the library. And unfortunately, the article said that for sure the statue would be placed in front of Stevens Memorial Library. Now that is incorrect. We don't know where the statue is going to be. Mike Smolak and I have been working on this, and a couple of you know about that, but we haven't had any ideas yet about a site.
Yeah.
And that got very confusing, because you have to go through channels before you'd ever have anything done with the Stevens Library, because it's part of the town.
Right. Oh, yeah, right. There'd be a whole process to go through.
So we have to go through the selectmen meeting.
Oops.
And then get to the town manager and, talk to different people before we have anything to do with putting it on a town property.
Actually, who wrote the article, and what was the instigation?
Brian, see, this is it. I haven't seen it, but I really want to see it, because maybe he didn't write it quite that way and it was misconstrued.
Yeah.
So I haven't really read the article, but it was just today that all this happened in the afternoon.
Okay.
So and I talked to Cindy over at the library, the assistant director, and she said, I think it might have even been on the first page. And I said, oh my gosh, the front page of the Citizen.
Yeah, I see.
Oh my Lord!
I see. Jason found it.
Yeah, and Mike never knew about it. He didn't know until I told him. But he was interviewed by Brian.
Yeah.
So, but I'm the one that got the quote in there, and I know I did not say for sure. I was hoping it would be in front of the library. I would love to have it there, or even behind the library, on the clock side.
Right.
Because you look up from the children's room through those windows.
Yeah.
And you would be able to see her. So
I guess.
But there are other places.
Yeah. And if you Google it, you can probably find it pretty easily.
I will. Okay. But I had no time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We can talk further. Boy, that would be interesting. It looks like Mike Smolak is the one who they were talking to. He's
okay.
He's on the planning committee for the town's 375th, and it says he submitted a proposal to the town's to the CPA, Community Preservation Committee.
Okay. So that's where it came from then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I have talked to Brian over the years. Brian knows about my idea too. Everybody does. I've been talking about it for so long.
And that's probably why he quoted you.
She's a world-renowned poet who's known by many, many different groups of people, but she's got no statue anywhere in the world. None.
Well,
She has a stained glass window in St. Botolph's Church Cathedral in Boston, England, and that's it. That's all she has.
oh,
So I think it needs to be remedied for this lady who was born over 400 years ago.
yeah. Okay. So I included that link. So when I send out meeting minutes, you'll
Oh,
see
that'd be
that.
good. Thank
Okay.
you.
I'll send it out
Thank you.
when we're complete. All right.
Good.
Any other topics? All right. So the final action of business is to see if we can set the next meeting date. And I guess I was thinking maybe December sometime.
That sounds good.
Okay, because then we can talk about plans to announce the poetry contest, which I'm thinking we would probably announce in January.
Mhm.
Yep.
If that sounds good.
Yeah, and we know sort of what we're planning ahead of time because of last year, so there's
Right.
not going to be much change there.
Right. All right. How is December 6th as a possible
The
date?
best one of the month, if that's an option
Yes,
for others.
right.
Yes.
Early is better, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Early is much better.
Okay. All right. Let's set
Yeah,
that as
good.
a tentative date. All right. That's a Monday,
Okay,
which,
good.
okay, Mondays seem to work. All right.
And then we could invite the people that I mentioned
Yeah,
to join us for that one.
exactly. Yep. And with everything that I do as far as contacting people, Karen, I'll send you a little blurb that says here's the mission of the Poet Laureate Committee, and here's kind of the expected activity that the Poet Laureate Committee does.
Good, and then maybe and also the minutes.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, good. That would be enough.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Well, do people have anything else? Otherwise, we can adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
But yeah, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
And then, of course.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Okay.
Unanimous. All right. I will send out meeting minutes, and I'll also forward it to Jillian Brothers so she can record it for the town, and we'll be in touch, and then we'll get the ball rolling with possible new members, which is probably one of the biggest things, if not the
we
biggest thing.
definitely got to do that. Definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right.
See you on the 6th, if not sooner.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take
All right.
care.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye, Bridget.
All right. Take it
Bye,
easy.
see you
All
all.
right.
Bye,
Good night.
Marie.
Be well.
Yes. Bye-bye. Bye, Mark.
See you.